You ready? Chatzorayim Tovim, everyone. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this meaningful program that is the latest in this wonderful partnership that exists between the Nathan and Esther Peltz Holocaust Education Resource Center and Congregation Shalom. And it's always a highlight in our year, and we have had the pleasure of welcoming many wonderful scholars and fascinating individuals to our community over the years. This past Shabbat, we read from the Torah portion Behalotecha from the book of Numbers. And from the very first words of this Torah portion, which bears its name, we receive the instructions, Behalotecha et hanerot el mul penei hamenorah, ya'iru shivat hanerot. When you lift up or mount the lamps, let the 7 lamps give light at the front of the lampstand. And though seemingly a mundane phrase about where to position the menorah that was in the great temple, lamps have come to symbolize memory and enlightenment in our tradition. And 7 is a symbol or symbolic of eternity. Our people's memory is a long one. Particularly amidst our memories is the pain of loss that is constant in our lives and in our heritage. We kindle lamps of memory, both literally, figuratively, and spiritually. When we gather to learn from scholars and righteous individuals like Terry Swartzberg, we keep the light of memory kindled in our community. The Stolperstein Project is certainly keeping the light of memory of the individuals whose lives were extinguished by the Nazis. They are deserving of being remembered, not as some statistic or even remembered by the way that they perished, but the light that each one brought to the world. Their lives, the cultural vibrancy that they produced as communities, and the meaning each of their lives hold for having lived fully and loved fully, that's how we keep the light kindled and continued. And there are some people I'd like to thank. First, thank you to Samantha Abramson, Executive Director of HERC, and Sam Goldberg, HERC's Director of Education, and Michael Morris, HERC's Community Engagement Manager, Sarah Sillers and Jennifer Koss. Thank you to Peyton Gex, Director of Special Events and Membership here at Shalom, and Brian Avner, our Director of Congregational Learning. Thank you and welcome to Terry Swartzberg, and of course a special thanks to Bill and Becky Commissar for sponsoring this program today and the commitment that you continue to show, a deep and profound commitment to making sure that our community never forgets. And I know that this value is deeply personal, and it's a testament to the generations that came before you and a light to the generations that follow. So thank you so much. Each of you kindle and raise the lamp of memory to be profoundly felt in our community. May it shine a light for our future. Thank you for being such wonderful lamplighters in our community. And it's now my pleasure to introduce Sam Goldberg, HERC's Education Director.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Rabbi Noah, for those kind words. And thank you all for coming on a very cold afternoon here in Milwaukee. But thank you so much. As Rabbi Noah mentioned, my name is Sam Goldberg, and I'm HERC's Education Director. So what is HERC? HERC is the Nathan Nesser Peltz Holocaust Education Resource Center. And we do a lot for this community and for the education system, for adult learners and student learners alike. This picture that we're showing right above was taken on April 20th, 2021. My goodness, that pandemic year really kind of thrown it all together. Eva Zaret, one of our board members and beloved Holocaust survivors in the audience, is there as Governor Evers signed the bill making Holocaust and genocide education mandatory and mandated for all Wisconsin schools. Our mission is to teach lessons of the Holocaust, but not through numbers and statistics and dates, but through human stories. So like today, we're gonna see the individual stories and the individual things that make the Holocaust unique, because we found that that's how people learn, and that's really what makes the best impact. We offer a lot of different programs, like this wonderful partnership with Congregation Shalom, from field trips and first-person talks from Holocaust survivors to children and even grandchildren of survivors who we also have in the audience with us today. They go to students to their schools, we bring them to the museum, and honestly, it is by far one of the most impactful things that we offer is our survivor stories. We also offer professional development workshops for educators in teaching this new mandated history. And again, we teach them not only what the history is, but how to teach it in a way that's showing empathy and respect for all of the victims and all of the different stories that you know from the Holocaust. We have a lot of school programs, again, with the survivor speakers, field trips, and special guest speakers as well. We have plenty of community programs like this one for intergenerational, for adults. I highly suggest you check out our website because we're always throwing events out there and you'll never know what you're gonna get. Lastly is our Holocaust education map. This is a teacher training tool. You can find it at teachholocaust.org. And it is really a one-stop shop for educators to learn about teaching the Holocaust. So kind of our impact of what we've been doing for the past year. We have even more lesson plans. We have 116 currently on our Holocaust education map, and we've served 2,394 students, 96,075 impacts, and 549 educators, just to name a few. We've really been busy since the mandates happened, and it's through generous support from our community members, from our school, from our friends that we've been able to do this. So if you like today's program, and if you like what we do, please consider making a donation. We have donation cards on the table out front. You can also do it by going to our website at holocaustcentermilwaukee.org. But without further ado, I would want to bring up Michael Morris, HERC's Community Engagement Manager, to introduce Terry.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Rabbi Noah, for your warm welcome, and thank you, Sam, for introducing HERC. I'm Michael Morris, the Community Engagement Manager at HERC, and I'm so excited to welcome everyone to today's program, Stolpersteine, the world's most expansive Holocaust memorial. This program is a partnership between Congregation Shalom and HERC, and is generously sponsored by Becky and Bill Commissar. Thank you so much to the Commissars. And thank you to the board and staffs at HERC and Congregation Shalom. And I'd like to ask if you are a board member of either institution to please stand up to be recognized. Thank you. So this annual partnership brings engaging and timely programs about the Holocaust to our community in Congregation Shalom's beautiful building. And we're especially proud that this year's speaker, Terry Swartzberg, received both his high school diploma and college degree from schools in Wisconsin. specifically Oshkosh High School and the University of Wisconsin at Madison. Today, Terry will speak about Stolpersteine, also known in English as stumbling blocks. These are small but very mighty memorials that can be found in 28 European countries that remember victims of the Holocaust in public streets and spaces of meaning. Often, you will find them in front of someone's last address of choice. One of the most important aspects about the Stolpersteine is that they allow us to better understand the human cost of the Holocaust. This important educational perspective is exactly what Herc provides to classrooms all across the state. So exactly how did Terry Swartzberg, a New Yorker by birth and later a Wisconsinite, move to Germany and become a central figure in Europe's Holocaust commemoration movement? And how do Stolpersteine help us think about individual victims of the Holocaust? These are questions that Terry will answer in this highly engaging program. So welcome, Terry, and we're very eager to learn more.
I need my microphone. I hate microphones, by the way. So, how am I hearable, audible? Levi in the back, everybody hear me? Yep, okay. Am I too loud? If I get too loud, put your hands over your ears, please, okay? And I'm serious, and I like to wander, so get ready for this. I would love to tell you how I got to Germany, how I got to Berlin and everything, but I think the first thing I have to tell you about is these things. Stolperstein. This is a Stolperstein, and I'll pass it around. It's heavy, be careful. There are lawyers in the audience, I assume. Any lawyers? My brother is sitting up the front. He's a very good lawyer in case anybody needs him. Hopefully not in this case. I'll pass it around. Be careful, they're heavy. And you will see that it is a Stolperstein for a man who had two problems in Munich in 1930s. He was Jewish and he was gay. So first they sent him to Dachau. He got out of that, and then they took him to a sanatorium where they perfected the techniques of the Holocaust, using gas, using carbon monoxide, and using hunger to kill people. And he was killed, and you can read it there, he was killed in one of these places on July 15th, 1941. So I'll pass this around, I'll start here. Please read it, be careful, it is very heavy. This is a duplicate. The original, and this is the important point, is found in Munich, in what used to be our gay quarter, which is now one of our most upscale neighborhoods. What the Stolperstein means, please take it. What the Stolperstein means is that every single person passing by in the Pestalozzi-Straße, 35 in Munich, has the opportunity to stumble, not physically stumble. Lawyers have never made any money with these cases, but stumble with your eyes, with your heart, with your soul, and with your brain over this person. Now, we're all busy people. You're a very busy person, aren't you? You look very busy. And we're always rushing around, right? We're always rushing around. That means most people will go past Peyton, will go past this Stolperstein, but some will stop and learn that a person had lived, Otto had lived in this building. This Stolperstein was placed by our gay community and by the people living in the building. Now, I'm going to give you a fact, 3 facts of which we are very proud. And I'm going to ask you about these in 15 minutes. Are you ready? 15 minutes, I'm going to ask you to repeat these figures. Now, I know everybody at Congregation Shalom is brilliant because we're Jewish, right, Stuart? Everybody who's Congregation Shalom is brilliant. Some are skeptical. I see some skeptical faces there, Judy's. But I know you're brilliant because you're Jewish and loquacious. There are, and I want you to open your ears. I used to teach Head Start. I want you to open your ears. There are now 100,000 Stolperstein in 1,800 cities in 31 countries. It is the largest project of commemoration that the world has ever seen. After the world's worst crime against humanity, and I will always be emotional when I'm talking about the Holocaust, especially to my mishpacha, it is the largest project of commemoration that the world has ever seen. And the most interesting thing about it is its effect upon European society. Now, I'm going to make some statements here. I want you to believe me. You're Jewish. You may not believe me. I'm used to going to Israel where everybody is skeptical. I speak often on the Stolperstein Israel. All of Europe, thanks to the Stolperstein, is now involved in the commemoration of the Holocaust. All of Europe is involved in the commemoration of the Holocaust, especially the young. And what this means, and that's what my brother Sandy, who is very brilliant, I don't say that because he's my brother, pointed out, one reason why I, as a Jew, feel safe and cherished in Germany and in Europe, and I've been wearing a kippah on my head, I've got a lot of them, got 80 kippot, to prove this, why I feel safe is that all of Europe is turning out to commemorate the victims of the Holocaust. Now, Stolperstein are not just for Jews. Now, you're all brilliant people. You may be shy. You're not shy, Bill. Who else did the Nazis kill? Who else did the Nazis? Gays and gypsies and Jehovah's Witnesses and political prisoners and everybody. They get Stolperstein too. And if your family, like Ava's family, if 5 members or 7 members, how many members of your family were killed by the Nazis, Ava? 40? If 40 members were killed, we would place, and we will place a Stolperstein for Ava, should you so wish, in Budapest, because it's not just about being killed, it's about everybody who was persecuted and suffered. That means we have 100,000 Stolperstein, but Becky, we need 6 million for the people who are persecuted, another 4 million who survived. So we need 10 million Stolperstein for the Jews alone. We've got a little bit of work. My daughter's there. She'll be doing it, Anima. My daughter's there. She'll be doing it. My grandchildren, who I do not yet have yet. Anima, I don't know if you have any plans for that. You're only 18. Please don't do it. Not yet. Maybe 5 years, okay? 5, 10 years, Anima? Okay, yeah. They will be doing it. My great-grandchildren will be doing it. It is a Lador Vador. It is a project for the generation. Now, Stolperstein are found everywhere, and if you've been to Europe, you will have seen them. From the tip of Norway, Tromsø, to Athens, to Crete, to Riga, to Barcelona, anywhere the Nazis killed and persecuted people, okay? Now, you're all brilliant, as I said. We all agree upon that. You look skeptical, but I know you're brilliant. You're looking very skeptical. I used to be a teacher, I'm sorry, I go to people. No, are you okay? Yeah, well, you're Jewish, you have to do that. Okay, so now you're all brilliant. Who do you think plans and initiates the Stolperstein? Who do you think wants, because each Stolperstein, there's no central authority. There is one artist named Gunter Demnig who started this on his own, by himself. He's a German, not a Jew, 30 some odd years ago. There are now 1,200 local organizations. We all run our own selves. We don't get governmental money, we don't get corporate money, we do get private donations. One big reason to come to the United States, I hate fundraising, but I'll waggle my eyebrows one more time. A Stolperstein costs 180 euros, about $200 to produce something. Who do you think, you're all brilliant, who's going to be the bravest member of Congregation Shalom? I'm going to meet the bravest member of Congregation Shalom. Who do you think asked for Stolperstein to be placed? Come on. What? That is the second best answer. What's your name? Okay, well, good. Still, I forgive everything. My sister-in-law is there. She's Methodist, and I love her madly. So, family members is the second largest group. Family members in Israel, family members in America, family members in the United Kingdom, Australia, yes, even in Germany. Now, I want to tell you something. We do have a lot of Jews in Germany. Does anybody know how many Jews we now have in Germany? Anybody want to guess? 10,000. That was a brave thing to say. Multiply it by 30. We have 300,000 Jews in Germany now, about half of what before the Holocaust, and 145 Jewish congregations. I am a proud member of Bet Shalom, same name. Unfortunately, our synagogue is not as beautiful as yours. It's very tiny. I'll take it back with me to Germany if I can. Anima, we have extra weight, don't we, in our backpacks? Okay. So, 145 Jewish congregations in Germany. 138 are directly involved in the Stolperstein. 300,000 Jews. But who wants the Stolperstein placed? You said, Yvonne said, family. 30,000 Stolpersteins were commissioned by family members, and they have to approve them. In other words, if Ava wants Stolper, or Ava, we say to Ava, we want to place Stolperstein for her family, Ava has to say yes, otherwise they don't get placed. And family members come over to see the Stolperstein placed for their ancestors. We are placing Stolperstein, 60 Stolperstein in Munich, on Reichspogromnacht, Kristallnacht on the 9th of November. I invite you all to come to experience the wonder and the moving quality of the Stolperstein. But the largest group of people who ask the Stolperstein to be placed and who pay for it are residents of the buildings themselves. Because they discovered that they are living, mostly Jews lived in beautiful buildings before the Nazis threw them out, in beautiful quarters, and they don't want to live in a building and not realize and not recognize the past. They want to do it. And what that means, if you ask to get a Stolperstein, you are going to commemorate the victims of the Holocaust every single minute of every day. Every time you go out of your house, Sam Goldberg, I love your name. Every time you go out of the house, you will be commemorating the victims of the Holocaust. It's a huge decision, and people make it, and they pay for it. For instance, as I said, the Stolperstein, which is hopefully passing around, the people of the building wanted to have it there. They discovered that a gay man, Jewish man, lived there. They asked us to place it. I think that's wonderful, and that is why members of Congregation Shalom and friends, why the Stolperstein are unique. In other words, you've been to Dachau, many of you. You've been to Auschwitz. You've been to all these concentration camps, right, rabbis? You've been there. So, and it's very moving, but you go there with conscious intent to commemorate, to suffer with these people. But the Stolperstein are unique because you really stumble across them. Now, I said to you that all of Europe is involved, and I'm going to give you a story. Kevin, can you hear me? Is he there? He's going to show a video, hopefully, or not. We'll see what happens. Maybe he's placing a Stolperstein. We'll see. Peyton. Okay, hold on a second, Kevin. Okay, just 1 second. Now, I'm going to show you something which I think is remarkable. Every year, I have 30 to 40 interns. They are 11th grader usually from the Montessori school. Montessori high schools, in contrast to the school Anima went, you have to do vocational education. You have to do on-the-job training. I'm very popular with my interns. They come to me. They're usually 16 years old. And my job is to find out what they can do for me because we have very little money. I'm going to wave my eyebrows one more time. We have very little money, and these interns are amazing. And my job is they're like black boxes for me. My job is to find out what creativity is in these interns, to find it, to identify it, and to tap it. What you're going to see is a rap. You know rap. Not a rap one eats, but a rap. And a rap created by Martin. He is from Riga. His mother's an opera singer. Maybe that explains it. And he came to me and I said to him, Martin, what would you like to do here? What creative things can you do about the Holocaust? He knew about the Holocaust because he is from Latvia, but he found out more and he said, I would like to create a rap. And this rap is extremely popular. And what you're going to see are young people and Stolperstein in Munich, okay? Young people and Stolperstein. Not only Martin learned how to create a rap about the Stolperstein, he also learned how to create a video about it. And this video is way young people reach young people. Because La Dor Vador, Sam Goldberg, La Dor Vador is our work, right? From generation to generation. We have to make sure that the Holocaust is not forgotten, and this is what I want to tell you, the key message. The Holocaust was never more known than it is now. And the best thing about the Stolperstein, and we're going to see the video, the next thing about the Stolperstein, the most important thing about the Stolperstein is it removes the anonymity, I almost said it properly, from the Holocaust. Now, before I start, I was born in 1953 in New York, like this charming gentleman. My brother here is a year older than I am. And I think, Sandy, you will agree with me, I think almost our first words were the 6 million. There was not a time that we did not know about the Holocaust. We did not know about Auschwitz. My family was angry that America had not taken in more Jews. I think that was the big thing. We knew about it. But the first time I realized, and this is my last word on the subject, that the Holocaust was the murdering of 6 million people like us, just like us, that the distance was removed was via the Stolperstein. Because on a November night, 2008, I was coming from a concert in an ugly industrial city in Western Germany with my best friend, and I literally stumbled congregants over my first Stolperstein, and I felt two conflicting emotions. One was terror, because all of a sudden I realized that 6 million of us, 6 million of people like me and like you and like everybody here had been murdered in thousands of Holocausts, not just one. thousands of times. Eva could tell you what happened in Budapest alone is so shocking. It should have never happened in human history, and it happened 6 or 7 times in Budapest. And gratitude was my other emotion. I was so thankful that I was finally having an opportunity to see individuals, to meet individuals, to get to know individual stories. Individuals, and that's my work. Every day I get up and I research, I organize, I play Stolperstein with my wonderful organization. We're a lot of people, and I get to know individuals. It breaks my heart every day, and it makes me glad that I've done my little part to bring back people who would otherwise never have been forgotten. Why I am doing that, I'll talk about in a couple of minutes. Look at the video. Kevin, let's...
Millionen ermordete Seelen und sie werden uns fehlen und sie wurden gequält. Heute gibt es Leute, ehren sie doch Stolpersteine, dann sind sie nie wieder alleine. Ehren die Vergangenheit, eine schlimme Zeit, sie sind da oben nicht allein. Stolperstein für Stolperstein, Ruhe und Frieden auf dem Grabstein. Stolperstein für Stolperstein, ehren die Vergangenheit, eine schlimme Zeit, sie sind da oben nicht allein. Stolperstein für Stolperstein, Ruhe und Frieden auf dem Grabstein. Ja, jetzt jagen wir durch viele kleine Steine in den Straßen, damit wir immer sagen, dass wir sie noch im Gedächtnis haben. Crashpunkt, versuchten mit Fingern die Löcher zuzuhalten und die dämpfenden Schrei durch die Gänge immer wieder schalten. Man nannte es Konzentrationslager, ein Mädchen verlor ihren Vater. Köpfe sind eingeschlagen, Körper abgemagert. Die Deutschen quälten mit keinem Aber. Millionen ermordete Seelen, sie werden uns fehlen und sie wurden noch gequält. Stolperstein für Stolperstein, ehren die Vergangenheit, eine schlimme Zeit, sie sind da oben nicht allein. Das Ziel, alle Juden im Machtbereich zu töten. Ein Vater verlor seine Söhne, töten Nächstenliebe. Weißt du, was das heißt? Das heißt, dass man für den anderen immer wieder nur ins Gras beißt. Sie sind da in unseren Köpfen, sie sind da in unseren Seelen und wir immer sagen können, sie werden uns fehlen. Millionen ermordete Seelen, sie werden uns fehlen und sie wurden gequält. Heute gibt es Leute, ehren sie doch Stolpersteine, dann sind sie nie wieder alleine. Millionen ermordete Seelen und sie werden uns fehlen und sie wurden gequält.
Okay, a 16-year-old boy, he had no experience with the Holocaust, never done a rap before. Isn't that amazing? And the text in German is wonderful. And you saw young people, many of them refugees, immigrants, many of them who've Muslims, and they love to work on my project with me. I've got 6 interns at the moment who are working on my project, long distance, per Zoom at the moment. And we huge events in July in Munich. You're all invited to come. I wanted to, before I open the field to question, I don't know how long I've spoken, but I have the feeling I've spoken long enough. I want to leave you with a scene. It was a March day, and we were placing Stolperstein. I've placed Stolperstein 12 times this year in Munich already. 40 Stolperstein, another 60 are coming. And the people who were placed for were the Laupheimer family. Some survived, most didn't. They were placing 7 Stolperstein. And I looked around, there were 80 or 90 people there, which is a good turnout for a Friday afternoon. People in Munich are busy, almost as busy as people in Milwaukee. I guess people in Milwaukee are the busiest people in the world, right? You don't have time for anything, right? You're looking very serious. Okay, so now, I looked around and Most of the people there were young, and most of the people there were not German-born. And the story was, I have a colleague on the board, we have a local organization, and he is principal of a school which is considered a troubled school, a Brennpunktschule, troubled school, and he is also a teacher of history, and he teaches the Holocaust. Every German child, and my daughter Anima, who just went through high school very successfully, high grade point average, I'm very proud. Right, Anima, you do the Holocaust twice in school. You go through the Holocaust twice in school, once or twice. More than that, says Anima. So they knew about the Holocaust. They had just learned about it in the 9th grade, and they said they wanted to do something. And it was 3 young women, Eski, Trilana, and Sarah, and you know what they did? They went out and raised money for Stolperstein. They raised 300, 400 euros for Stolperstein, for 2 Stolperstein. Isn't that amazing? They went to their classmates, and none of them are Jewish, and said, we have to commemorate the victims of the Holocaust. My friends, Haverot ve'Haverim, this is amazing that young people, the spark always springs. I've never experienced, I've had maybe 300 or 400 people in my office, young people in my office, I've never experienced that young people weren't fascinated by the Holocaust and willing to work on it and eager to work on it. They do research. They research. I will tell you one more story. And I looked around at this Holocaust, and what they did was Trilana, Sarah, and Eski had researched the lives of the victims and read their biographies aloud. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? 30 years ago, everybody thought in Germany and the world, Rabbi, I think you'll agree with me about that, people were going to forget about the Holocaust. Some people hoped, excuse me, that's my German, hoped that people would forget about it. They hoped that that was the last generation to have to bother with the Holocaust, that Germany could move on. That's what the neo-Nazis hoped and everything. The converse is true. People are now more involved and more aware of the Holocaust than ever before, also thanks to the other forms of commemoration. Unfortunately, I have no time to talk about them today. I've created 3 forms of commemoration on my own with my other organization. Could talk about that some other time. Peyton will invite me back for that, hopefully, Peyton. Hopefully, Stuart. So, and I just want to say this is a miracle, a ness, what is happening in Europe and in Germany, and I invite you to see it and to participate. And before I leave, I want to tell you a story about that. And my daughter allows me one story, right? 3 minutes, right? You have an app on my telephone, right? It'll start beeping, right? 3 or 5 minutes. Is it 4 minutes or 3 minutes, Anima? 4 minutes. Anybody got a watch there? Okay, 4 minutes. So I had 4 boys as interns. I say boys, they were nice young men. They were okay. They were fun guys. You know, they knew about American football, which is always good. I am a Packers fan. Not necessarily a Brewers fan, although I was recently there with Stuart and my friend Stuart Muckamo. Thank you for the invitation, Stuart. I am now also a Brewers fan, but I am really a Packers fan. We had 4 boys, and a young lady asked to be my intern. She was from Nepal, a small woman, I mentioned it, and who spoke beautiful English, and I said to her, what we do here is we do a commemoration of the Holocaust. Do you know anything about the Holocaust, Nepal? And she said, no. But I would like to learn. So I let her watch these and other videos that we have created. I've got a YouTube channel, all sorts of stuff. And after 3 days, she said, okay, now I know about the Holocaust. And I said, what would you like to do? And she said, you need to reach people. We need to reach buildings owners to get permission to place Stolperstein. I will distribute those little stuffed mailboxes. I said, you are a small foreign woman. Do you want the boys to go out with you? And she said, I don't need any boys. And she didn't. And that one small woman did a better job than my big boys who were probably, playing on their telephones. We don't want to know what they were doing. Anyway, and she came back with fantastic results. And then I said to her, what would you like to do next, Deepika? And she said, I would like to research one borough of Munich. And she did. We have online resources. We have a documentation center. She went there. And I can show it to you. And maybe afterwards, she found 1,200 Jewish residents of Lehel, 1,200. She put together a database of 1,200 Jewish victims of the Holocaust. And I said, well, I'd like to put it online on our website. She said, I can do that. I can learn that. She taught herself to do it. This is inspiring for me, that young people are so interested. And that is, I think, our most important thing, Lador Vador. The next generations and generations to follow will not only not forget the Holocaust, but they will continue my work. I'm going to be 70 in the summer, and summer's next month. I'm having a big block party on July 22nd in Munich. You're all invited, and if you don't think that I don't mean that seriously, come and see what I mean. July 22nd. Right, Anima? They're all invited, aren't they? There'll be beer, and there'll be klezmer music, and everything you expect. So, the next generation will do it, and I think that's wonderful. Okay, I want to conclude with a Shehekianu. I want to say thank you to the Rabbi, and to my dear friend Stuart. Come here, Stuart. Stuart, where are you? Come here. It was Stuart's idea. We've been friends for 53 years. Now we're going to slow down Shehekianu. It's not going to be, he was a real bar mitzvah bocha. He's really fast. And I would like to ask you all to join me into Shehekianu. I want to say thank you, and I want to say thank you to something you don't appreciate, because you can't appreciate it. I go to Israel often. I live in Germany. Reform Judaism, with its warmth and spirituality and openness, is a treasure to be cherished. Do you understand what I mean? You know that. What you have here is inspiration for me. I'm serious. When I go to Israel, I feel often lost. There are a couple of wonderful Reformed congregations there, Beth Daniel and so, Dachai Noam. And in Germany, we're coming back. But what in America, the sense of embracive humanism, warmth. Friday evening, I was there and I was going, wow. Isn't it wonderful to have a congregation? Bill and Becky and all, you can be very proud of this congregation, how warm it is. And that's what I often have missed in Germany. And I only became an active Jew again when we founded our Reformed congregation in Bet Shalom, which I really love, and I've been a board member for many years, off and on. So I want to say a big total rabah to you all. And, kol hagavod, keep up the excellent work you're doing here. Give us your synagogue. Piece by piece, we'll take it over to Germany. You won't miss it. You can build another one, maybe another one. I know lawyers and everything. Thank you so much. And together, I would ask you all, slowly, because we all like to say the prayers fast, well, let's do a Shehekianu together as a congregation, okay? Because today I'm a member of a congregation, as you are now members of the Mishpacha HaStolperstein, Mishpach of Neguv's Stolperstein family. You are now all officially members of the Stolperstein family. Okay, you know that? Do you feel it? Do you feel it? I'm not hearing you, Milwaukee. You're American Jews. For God's sakes, I'm finally an American talking to Jews. Can I hear it? Yeah. No, I didn't hear it. Can I hear it? Yeah. All right, that was good. That was good. Very good, Sandy. Okay, ready for Shehekianu? I guess. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehekianu ve'kimanu ve'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. I didn't hear it. Can I hear an amen? Amen. All right, that was pretty good. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. Questions? Do we have any time for, how long did I speak? No. Did I speak for an hour? Okay. Are there any questions now? Otherwise, I'll stick around for a while. Yes, please, Yvonne.
What's your website?
Well, website is, please get in touch, stolperstein-münchen.de, Peyton knows, and I've got cards being passed around. Peyton, would you pass around the cards?
When you guys leave, we're going to have cards to hand out at the door for all of you.
They will also help you in case you want to give us a few shekalim. My brother told me I couldn't leave the United States without a certain amount of donations, right, Sandy? He's on the board of our thing, too. So Sandy said, I'll have to stay in Milwaukee, and so unless you guys donate. Okay, yeah, Yvonne. Yvonne, this is a very tragic and very good question. Are there Stolperstein in Poland? So, and the problem is that Poland has a very hard time with its collaboration is past. And this question is asked often. We need 5 million Stolperstein in Poland. 5 million. 3 million for the people who were killed, plus the 2 million who survived or whatever. And we have Stolperstein in Poland. It's very frustrating. And it's like France. France is opening up Poland, maybe, but we're a local organization, entirely grassroots. That means if there's no local organization on the ground, Stolperstein are not placed. We're not a centralized authority. We're not an institution. We don't, as I said, we don't get governmental money. So we have about 200 Stolperstein in Poland. We need 3 million. We're working on it. I'm working on it personally. But it's not like Italy or the Netherlands or Belgium or the other countries or Austria or naturally Germany where there are a lot of France and Poland are our weak spots. And that's a good point. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Any other good questions? Yeah, please. What's your name? Ryan. Ron, we have Shapiros in our family, yeah. Could very well be related. Irving Shapiro, Judge Irving Shapiro is my great uncle or something like that. Lillian Shapiro married my uncle. There are a lot of you, a lot of Romanian Jews usually, Romanian, right? Shapiro is very common in Romania.
They were derived from Speyer.
Ah,
Shapiro actually.
I didn't know that. I learn something every day. Speyer, this the German Jerusalem. Ron, what's your question?
It's a statement. I just thought that people would like to know this. There is a
Rabbi.
family, a Christian.
Let's give him a microphone.
Catholic family here in Milwaukee. They've been here at our congregation and have spoken several times. I'm not going to mention their names because I don't know if they want me to.
Take this microphone, Rabbi.
Were you able to hear? Mm-hmm. So, in this particular case, the family goes back to what they can remember, the 1880s. A Jewish family who experienced persecution in Germany then. Some decades later, they became involved in trying to fight anti-Semitism in Germany. Much of the family then became involved with Christians who were interested in ensuring that anti-Semitism be dissolved, that we as Christians should become friends with Jewish people, and that we are one community living together. The next generation of that family became Christians for two reasons. One, because there was a piece of the community that wanted to befriend Jews, and there was a concern of the growing anti-Semitism occurring at the same time. That family became Catholic. And one of my good friends who was a priest in town here, who has a Jewish name, served Catholic congregations in Milwaukee with dignity. The children were raised as Catholics, obviously. Wonderful and caring people. When they learned more about the Holocaust in Stolperstein, they went to Germany to be able to place such a stone in the area in which the family had lived. And there was a movie made of all of this. And these Catholic young people began to sing song after song after song, which were well known by Jews, in Hebrew, and chanted and recited the Kaddish for their great-grandmother who had initiated the family as Jews. And since then have become very involved in to try to understand the closeness and work upon the kind of complexion of love and respect for each other in our community. They laid a Stolperstein. They said Kaddish. They sang a number of Hebrew songs, and they represent something very beautiful in our society.
Thank you for this moving testimony. I want to address that 2 points. First of all, Stolperstein bring people together. People come together, and unfortunately I already told you one story, but I'm sorry, and everybody wants to go, but I will tell you another story, which was we were placing very quickly, 30 seconds anyway, we were placing Stolperstein for a family. Grandparents had been killed, and we had to get the granddaughter's approval. And she said, well, I'm the only family member whose approval you need to get. And we said, no, your grandfather and grandfather actually had a second wife and 2 or 3 more kids, and they're in the United States, and we have to get their approval too. And this story, Rabbi, you have heard probably many times, is that At the placement of the Stolperstein, the family got to know each other. And I think the best example of that is Carola Klein. She was a young girl, a 12-year-old like Anne Frank, and there were 100 family members all around the world who'd come to the placement of Stolperstein. They had never seen each other before, most of them before. Stolperstein bring people together, Jews and non-Jews, former Jews, future Jews. Any religion, any group brings people together, and that's why Europe has such a strong civil society. Okay, that was 30 seconds. Okay, are there any other questions? Yes, please.
I'm delighted to hear about this. I had no idea. But my understanding is that there's a sense of rising anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I knew we were going to get here.
I'm the one who was asking the question then.
Okay.
You knew I was going to be here. And
No, I didn't, but I'm glad you are.
Okay.
Chris,
yes, thank
here,
you.
take your microphone.
No, I was just curious because I worry about the rising anti-Semitism in this country and around the world. And do you think the enthusiasm for this is partly in reaction to the rising anti-Semitism, or could rising anti-Semitism be reaction to this going on? Because,
obviously, that is a brilliant question.
well, everybody says that about me.
As I know. I read about you on the darknet. I knew you were coming.
No, I just, and is it causing more opposition in the world? And so give us a solution to how to make peace with this.
Okay. First of all, I have been wearing a kippah on my head for the last 10 and a half years. I don't have a car. I walk around Munich. I walked around 150 cities. The German government has honored me for my supposed courage. My kippot are to be seen in the Jewish museums in Munich and in Berlin, and the Museum of German History in Bonn, the official thing. I'm very famous in Germany because of it. I don't think it took any courage. I've done 10 and a half years. Guess how many negative incidents I've had? 0, right. How many fun incidents have I had? Maybe 500, 1,000 people coming up to me saying, where are the kosher restaurants, Israelis, in Munich or in Berlin and everything. People wanting to know where the Reformed congregation is. I think Jews are safe in Germany. I think they're as safe as they are anywhere else, probably a little bit safer than the United States, according to statistics. I don't know how endangered Jews are in the United States. I haven't lived here for 44 years. You know, I don't. I know that a lot of the statistics are based on hate crimes and things like that in the internet. That's why the statistics are rising. Most Jews are safe in Germany. We have not had anybody seriously injured in an anti-Semitic attack in many, many years. We were lucky in 2019. Somebody wanted to wipe out a congregation in Halle. The doors held. Otherwise, we would have had 70 Jews like what happened in Pittsburgh and San Diego. The good news is that Jews are very safe in Germany. 8 to 10% of Germans hate us, which I think is obscene. No German after the Holocaust should hate Jews. On the other hand, nobody ever tells the other story, Chris. And the other story is there's a flourishing of Jewish life in Germany and in Europe. I mean, you know, Ron, if you were going to write a book, you probably have written books, and you wanted to get it published, I'm sure you'll have no trouble getting it or have no trouble in the United States. But in Germany is the place that Jews and Israelis get books published, get dance performed, get music. Our synagogues, we have super security there, much more than here. But people are clamoring to have tours, to have us participate. I personally staged on March 31st in Munich in a cultural center I wanted to do outside. It was terrible weather. An open Shabbat, a Shabbat for everybody. 130 people came. Maybe we had a cantor, Avital, a wonderful cantor. I did some of the Brakot. 130 people, of which 100 were non-Jews. We had no security. We had some security, 2 policemen somewhere along the line. And I do that all the time. I stage open-air Shabbats all over Germany so that Jews and non-Jews can come together, and also that people have lost their way, and I think this is a problem we know everywhere. Secular Jews see how much fun, I won't tell anybody, Rabbi, how much fun it is to go to services. I really enjoy going to services. Rabbi, I enjoyed your service, and the cantor, thank you so much. And I'm trying to bring Jews back to Judaism. I'm trying to bring Jews and non-Jews together, and I say I go out every day. Recently, I was planting my terrace with plants. Didn't look very good, and my doorbell rang. I thought it was Anima, my daughter, coming to get some food. She likes my cooking, and thank God, or pretends to like my cooking. I don't know Anima, and it was a Russian lady speaking in English, and she said, I noticed in the internet that there's this Congregation Shalom, because if you look at the internet, Congregation Shalom, you get my address. I don't have any police protection. I have a normal house. And I said, well, I'm not a synagogue. I'd like to be, and I'm not a rabbi. I'm a Jew, but I can tell you how to get to Congregation Shalom. I don't need protection. I walk around every day with a kippah every single minute of every single day. I'm online, I'm internet, I stage public sector Shabbat. I am the living proof that Jews are safe in Germany. And I do think, Chris, and that's your best point, the Stolperstein have mobilized, and that was my brother's brilliant point. He's brilliant. I say that even though he's older than I am. My brother's brilliant point that it has made people much more involved in Judaism because it has stressed what our suffering was. It gets away from the idea Jews are Israel, Jews are rich. Whatever ideas they have in their mind, they see we've been through something horrible and they want to support it. And I think one reason why Germany anti-Semitism is on the decline, and one reason we're safe is the Stolperstein and the many other movements that have been done there, okay? Any other questions to that? Yeah, what's your name?
My name is Brad.
Hi, Brad.
How's it going?
Good, I think. I don't know. How's it going?
Do you feel that the common German citizen that's under the age of, let's say, 60, that she or he feels
Or they.
some type of shame for what their country did? Are children taught that this is a national shame, that we all feel responsibility? And that leads to my part two, and that is public Holocaust denial. I heard that if you're in Germany and you publicly state that the Holocaust didn't exist, or you deny the existence of the Holocaust, that's actually a crime against the state, and you can be fined or arrested for that. Is that true, or is that just a rumor?
Well, I'd like to ask my half-German daughter here, who's German and American and Jewish and non-Jewish. Okay, the question was, do Germans feel a sense of shame under the age of 60? Do they feel a sense of responsibility? Do they learn about the Holocaust? Brad, what was your other points?
Is public Holocaust denial,
That is a crime.
that is a crime against the state?
That's a crime against the state. That will get you in serious trouble. I think it's wonderful, and I think it should be here too, by the way. First Amendment, I love the ACLU, but First Amendment and everything, I think it's a crime. If my daughter, I know it's a big thing. Do you want to say a few words, Anima? Go ahead, get up, stand up and say it.
Well, from my, can you just raise your hand so I can? Yeah, from my personal experience, in class, we talk about the Holocaust a lot, and there's always this sense of shame or responsibility, and which I think is justified, but everyone, I think my generation knows that obviously this was not our doing, and the kids in my class know that, but they are aware of the history and maybe what their families did, and there was this, they ask about it and they want to know how their families were involved, what they did, and I would say that there's always a level of empathy and respect for the victims too when we talk about it in history class or in other classes. So yeah, I'd say there definitely is. In my school, at least. I know there's some schools and some individuals that will always be disrespectful, but personally, that is not my experience at all. I'd say there's always a level of respect.
My daughter, come on, proud Jewish father. Yes, Ava, please.
Thank you, and I wish you good luck. I would like to know, I am from Hungary. I survived from Hungary. I know my cousin who lives, the only relatives that I have from my father's side, they didn't kill one. He lives in Australia, Sydney, Australia, and he has this stone in Hungary.
Where is the stone, by the way?
And I have to say, I would like to have my father's gravestone. People who were from my father's side were killed in the river, the Danube River. Wow. They have no dedicated remembrance. I wonder what Poland is doing, because they don't want to have any knowledge of whatever happened in Poland, in the Polish Jews, which was the most amount of Jews that were killed. this is a small step. I hope good luck to you. I don't like the fact that we end up in the street as a stumbling block. I know in Hungary they're going to spit on it, the Hungarians, because they're not friends of the Jewish people. And I know many other countries. So I am very ambivalent about it. And I'm sorry.
No, Ava, you're entitled to your opinion.
But that's my opinion. How we ended up without gravestones, without knowledge, without history, without really, not just books. We have books. We can read hundreds of thousands of books about the Holocaust. What about countries like Germany? They were very, very good to make sure who died and who didn't. They were accurate. And where is the grave sites of all those wonderful people who perished? 40 people of my immediate family. How about the other people that died? 6 million. That's where we're going to be, stumbling blocks. Thank you.
Ava, thank you for this testimony. It is true, it's a matter of trust, what she says. Elderly Jews, and I'm going to be 70, who have experienced the Holocaust have a very hard time often accepting the fact that the people who killed them are now, their great-grandchildren are now prepared to live up to their deeds and respect the suffering of the victims. It's a matter of trust, okay? It's simply a matter of trust.
There was no more assimilated community in Europe than the German Jews. They worked on assimilation. They dressed like Germans. More Jews volunteered for the First World War than any other group. Yes. Assimilation does not stop it. And the second question I have for you, I have a question for you, is I have a good friend who does consulting for the FBI, and he says that anti-Semitism is really on the rise in the United States. And we even had a criminal that was taken away here who had done damage to synagogues. But this is in Europe, so what good does the Stolpersteins in Europe do us in the United States who are fighting anti-Semitism?
Well, first of all, I think the Stolperstein, of course, have to be where the people lived. But there are Stolperstein-inspired things in the United States for the blacks. There are or people of color, excuse me. Stopping stones, they exist in the United States, modeled on the Stolperstein for slaves, and the victims of the 1919 race riots in Chicago there have their own Stolperstein now, so they're spreading. But I think we have found in Europe that the Stolperstein mobilized the entire society. And we feel like if you learn about the Stolperstein and you participate, we can forge the bonds